Thank you, Doug. Thank you for the very generous introduction. I really appreciate it. I want to say good morning, everyone. It's great to be back here at SkySong. The last time I was here, we were cutting the ribbon on an investment that was made to be housed here of a stellar healthcare company called Theranos, which is going to reside here in Arizona. Their lab is just one of the many incredible ideas of technology that are here at SkySong, in addition to other great entries into innovation. I encourage you to check out Theranos if you haven't already. I want to begin by saying it's great to see a packed room. It was great to hear what Doug Pruitt had to say, and I want to expand on that a little bit. But I want to start by acknowledging the critical and important and excellent work that Global Pathways Institute is doing on behalf of students in Arizona and across the Southwest. It's been just over a year since this organization got underway in its mission to prepare our young people for education, success, and economic independence. So, Bill, you're doing a terrific job and off to a fast start. Doug, I'm glad you told the story about EVIT and GPL because it was an eye-opener to me when Doug Pruitt, as the leader of this business C-level organization, got up in front and said what I was voted most likely to do was to be a high school dropout. And had it not been for technical training, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I went out to visit EVIT about a decade ago and saw something that was at the high school or at the grade school where I was, and that was SHOP. And so many people found that career path, and they were well educated, and they've built terrific lives. And for whatever reason, over the course of the last several decades, that's changed. It's something I'm aware of, and I know with the dollars that we have and the dollars that we will have, we can do a much better job on this front, and I'm committed to doing it. I also want to say that I want to do this together. There's no way that just one individual or one organization can do it, but with state government focused across the Southwest, partnering with education champions, we can do this together. I think we can all agree that education is the most important issue in public policy today, and it's the issue that's in front of us. And that's why it's imperative that all of us in this room, including the business community and elected officials, have a seat at the table. Having spent most of my career in the private sector, I certainly have entered a different world than what I'm doing right now. But I understand the important and intertwined link between business and education. That's why over the past few months, our administration's been working hard to not only improve results, but to bring business leaders and philanthropists into that discussion. Employers have a huge stake in our education, and what I've found is that these charitable pursuits will make an investment in innovation. We all want to see and demand what's best for our workforce, and we want to make sure that what our schools are churning out are a product that has an opportunity for productivity in the real workforce. Earlier this month, we held a statewide Governor's Leadership Summit at Cardinal Stadium. We brought together hundreds of leaders from hundreds of different organizations across the state. We really said to influencers and decision makers and community people of involvement, come see what we're thinking of, the groundwork that we want to lay. We heard from a panel of education experts, nationally renowned speakers, decision makers, and policy shapers. People like Arthur Brooks, who's the president of the American Enterprise Institute, Frank Luntz, Michael Bidwell, Joel Klein, who ran the New York School Department of Education, New York City Department of Education, Paul Pastorek, who ran the New Orleans Department of Education post-Katrina. It was bipartisan, non-ideological, widely attended, hugely productive event, and it further solidified my belief that we all have a role to play in improving education and moving our state and our part of the country forward. And I think the beautiful thing we have out west, there's really nothing in our way. if we get the business community shoulder to shoulder with education champions in almost all of our states, there's nothing we can't accomplish. I'm going to continue to do my part to ensure that everyone with an interest in the future has a say in our future. I also want to acknowledge that this isn't simply an Arizona issue. This is a national issue, and I want to take a minute to recognize those that are here from our part of the country, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, New Mexico, who are joining us at this conference. We're all here because despite the sector, political party, organization, or state we represent, we're united by a common mission, and we're all facing the same challenges, no matter what our address. Simply put, when it comes to America's school system, simply stated, there's dramatic room for improvement. Speaking just for Arizona, I'll acknowledge that we do have some of the best public school leaders, educators, and students in the country. We're home to some of these great public schools, and I love to talk about them often. We're leaders here in parental choice. We're continually focused on giving families even more educational options in their children's education. But the question today and why we gather in settings like this is to talk about where we're falling down, what we need to work on, and where we can improve. So I'll begin by asking why in states like Arizona, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, New Mexico, and you could insert any state in the nation in this, why are high school students ill-equipped for college work? Why are so many dropping out at staggering rates? Why are those that do want to move forward need to be remediated at such high percentages? And why are people quitting college before they're getting their diplomas? And on the flip side, why do so many graduates from universities end up drowning in debt or underemployed, not able to use the degree that they have earned? In the Southwest, compared with the rest of the country, there's a woeful disconnect between education and business. And it's not because we're not prioritizing our young people. It's because we're not preparing them properly. It's because we're not giving them the tools they need to find their pathway, whether it's a 4-year degree or technical training. And it's because our school system is focused on high school completion, as if that's the achievement and not what comes after. Personally, I owe so much of my success to a solid education and the opportunities I received both in high school and at Arizona State University. And I'll be the first to recognize that our universities have some of the finest programs in the country. And again, I'm proud of them. In other settings, you'll find me bragging on them. They are tremendous assets to our state and to the students that graduate. But they are also not for everyone. And that's the key. That's the key. In Arizona and throughout the Southwest, where most our employment opportunities now require trade skills and technical training, we need to expand our focus beyond the 4-year degree and honor what that means and honor what that work is. We need to counsel our kids early about the different career options available to them. And as Sally Downey says, every scholar has a skill and every passion should be reflected in a paycheck. We need to place the same emphasis on apprenticeships as we do on academics. We need to eliminate the stigma of a vocational career as somehow less than a career requiring a 4-year degree or less lucrative, because it's simply not true. If we recognize that there are many pathways to success and not just one, we can fill our skills gap, the skill gap that all of our states are currently facing. We can ensure that our students are properly prepared to meet the needs of industry while addressing unemployment and underemployment among our graduates. We can ensure that more young people are prepared for careers they want and that they are trained for, rather than swimming in student loans with a degree that's not leading to a job and a career that they may not truly care for. And we can ensure that all children, regardless of zip code or circumstance, will have a shot at the American dream, at an excellent educational path of their choosing, and of the opportunity that our country has traditionally afforded young people. We can do this, and to do it, we must do it together. I'm calling on everyone in this room, education leaders, the business community, government, elected officials. Let's be partners in promoting career literacy early on. Let's be partners in improving our education system so that it has the effectiveness we know we're capable of as a state and as a people. We need the broad community involved in raising awareness of the unending opportunities and potential for our youth. And we need a culture change in education and how we look at work and how we look on counseling our kids and focusing them on career guidance. We need to be helping young people explore their options, not telling them what the best pathway is. We need to identify and foster those interests that they naturally have and prepare them with the skills that will lead to successful lives. I always promote Arizona as a great place to live, work, play, and to get an education in so many different places. I'm committed today with you to making it better, and I know we all have the same goals for your states and for your students. So let's get to work to get this done. I think as a part of the country, we can demonstrate leadership and be a model for so many other places. One thing I say about Arizona is it's different than many places we look around the country, especially outside of the Southwest, where we see in the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic region that are truly turnaround projects. Here in Arizona, and I think in so much of the Southwest, what we have is an underappreciated, undervalued jewel, which needs a better plan and better promotion of what we do right. If we get this right, this is something we can promote across the country, because these skills and this need is not just to our state, but to every state. So I want to say thanks again to the Global Pathway Institute and to our out-of-state guests for visiting us, especially before the weather gets too warm. I want to ask you to keep up the good work, have a great rest of the conference, and know that you've got a partner in the governor's office in Arizona. Thank you.